So I'm here with Tom Arnold from PetHub. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Steven.
So tell me, what is PetHub and what do you guys do?
Well, PetHub's focused on being, by its name alone, hub. We're trying to be this one central repository for all of your pet's data, and then we help you leverage it in different ways. And so what we've done to begin with is we allow people to store critical information about their animals, emergency contacts that they have, medications, license tag number, microchip, rabies tag numbers, and things like that.
Sure.
And then we let people actually link it to a physical ID tag that can be scanned with a smartphone, or you could call a phone number that we have on the tag, those kinds of things.
And you have a couple of them here. So
Yeah, we actually have a couple of this. This is through one of our partners called Red Dingo out of Australia. This is one that is a company, we've relabeled it with our packaging to go into retail, but the company's out of North Carolina. And then we've manufactured a couple of our own NFC tags, so you can just touch it to the phone. It still has the QR code and other stuff on it, but people love the jumping around dog. You can just touch it to the phone.
Right.
And then we have a company in North Dakota that actually makes collars, and so we've embedded the tech into the collar itself. So yeah.
Excellent. So it looks like in one case you've created your own tag, but in many cases here you're providing the service and partnering with people who actually make the physical tags themselves. So what drove partnering with somebody rather than just going with your own tag?
Right. Well, I've been accused of boiling the ocean in the past, where, and it's become my new mantra of keep it simple, which everybody keeps hearing it when you're starting a new business.
Sure.
And so I realized, one, not only did we need to simplify on our initial starting point, but we did need to try and create everything ourselves. So the question is, how can we find a partner that is looking for something that we can help them with their sales and they can help us with our sales? And so that's where we started with ID tag manufacturers. This one company alone, Red Dingo, they're in over 8,000 stores in the US. And yeah, huge. And so their problem was they only have an etchable tag. And so with an etchable tag, you go and fill out a form, you mail it in, and then you get it in 2 weeks. They wanted something where somebody could walk into the store, pick it up, walk out the same day.
Sure.
And so by putting our QR codes, phone numbers, and all that stuff on the back of the tag, they had that immediate purchase ability. And they could put us literally overnight, well, almost literally,
right.
Overnight, they could put us into thousands of stores.
Take me through the process of partnering with a company, right? How do you identify the company? With whom do you speak? And how do you go through that process and navigate that?
Well, a lot of it is, so the beauty of what we're doing at PetHub, there's about 5 of us. And what we do is we look at the services, because we all have pets. And so what do we want? So that's part of the criteria. The other part is we're talking to our users constantly. We've got about 50,000 Facebook fans, and they're all engaged. We've got a very high engagement rate, and they're giving us great feedback.
And that's a significant sample size, obviously. It's not just you're getting anecdotal evidence then, right?
Exactly. And we even have yet another level down of a smaller group of 100 that we trust, that our social media person calls her paparazzi.
Sure.
Yeah, puns.
And very punny guy.
She reaches out to them all the time and says, we're thinking of this, or what service should we add, or what do you love or what do you hate about what we're currently doing? We don't want the middle of the road where somebody goes, yeah, it's nice.
Right.
We want somebody to say either I'm passionately loving what you guys are doing, and we're like, great, we're going in the right direction, or I hate this, so I can actually go and say, I can fix that.
Also a good data point.
Exactly. So a big part of it is, what are people asking for? And then when we go and speak to those different partners, a lot of it is, can we provide them value, and are they providing us value? Because when you're doing the startup, it's so easy to go and just say, we're so eager to get traction, we'll partner with anybody.
Sure.
But you really have to think long and hard, because you're stuck with these people for a period of time if you're not careful.
Right.
And we actually had one partner, or a potential partner, who they were wanting to license our technology from us, but they weren't offering enough for it, and it would have cost us more money to be able to do it. Even though it was lead generation and we could potentially upsell other things,
Sure.
it was just going to be too high of a risk. It was just easier to walk away from it than to put ourselves in that bad situation where then you end up delivering a poor quality service not just to your customers but to your partners. So
Sure.
sometimes it's better just to walk away.
So you've picked out the service because you either gotten feedback from your users,
Right.
or your fans, or it's really just a service or a product that you want because you're a pet owner.
Exactly.
From there, how do you approach the company? Who do you approach in the company? Take me through that, because I would imagine it's similar to a sales process, right?
Yeah, and I'm an R&D guy. I mean, I'm all about running software projects and coding and stuff, and so I'm so not a sales guy.
Yeah.
So frankly, I just figure I have nothing to lose, and so I go, LinkedIn is a great tool. So I will actually go and find people and I will email them and say just a very high level of what we do. Less is more. I mean, keep it short and simple because then they're curious. So we say we have an ID tag, links to an online profile with all kinds of emergency data, and we send GPS to you and notifications when your pet is found.
Sure.
And they're like, whoa, that sounds really cool. And so they want to
Just
hear
hook 'em.
more. Yeah, you got to hook them. And it's also like when you're pitching to raise money, you're pitching to get the next meeting.
Sure.
You're not trying to sell them in that first meeting. So that's one thing. The other thing I do is I go and I look for press releases. And I see who are the people who are doing all the press releases, who is being quoted.
Sure.
And I'll go and find them on LinkedIn and then I'll connect with them. And that's the other thing. I'm sure you guys have heard this 100 times. Ask for advice. Ask for help. Just say, look, we're a startup. I'm not, we're thinking there might be something here, and if not, that's cool. But if there is, let's talk about it really quickly.
Sure.
Do you have time to jump on a quick phone call? And most people will say, yeah, I can jump on a quick phone call. That sounds fairly non-committal.
Right.
And you can't make them feel like they're getting cornered. You got to make it super easy, which is why you always ask for advice too.
Sure.
Everybody loves to give advice.
It's like ask them for the date. Don't pull out the ring yet, right?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Exactly. So that's basically the approach I take to reaching out to some of these folks.
Excellent. So I heard reach out, don't be afraid.
Right.
Right? Kind of keep it simple there too.
Right.
And reach out to the right people.
Right.
And then don't sell the product, but try to sell for the next meeting itself. Move
Absolutely.
the process along.
Absolutely. And a lot of times, even if I think this is the right person, I will say, can you tell me who the right person is, or can you give me advice as to who I should reach out to? And the other part is I start at the top too, a lot of times, because then when the president of the company is handing me off to his VP of whatever,
Sure, he's handing you down.
He's handing me down,
Yeah.
and they're like, they don't know the relationship that's there,
Right.
and they're like, well, as opposed to me coming in from the bottom,
Sure.
and they'll be like just blowing me off. So it's just easier to come in from the top down.
Excellent. So I know a lot of entrepreneurs watch these videos on Starting in Seattle. So and
These are
I
great
just
videos.
mentioned a few of the points that you just made. Anything else that you could add for people who are trying to make these partnerships, these strategic partnerships, as they say, right?
I think the biggest thing is just make sure going in what you want to get out of it. Just really think it through. And try and understand, whenever you're going and asking somebody for a favor or for advice, you also have to look at what's in it for them too. How is this going to help them? Why they're not going to help you just out of the goodness of their hearts.
Sure.
So you got to make sure that you're, giving them some value back as well. Let's see, I think that's the main thing, and being willing to walk away. If you can't get there, just because it's a huge company that would make you guys, the worst case is to just give up the farm just because this is the big one,
Sure.
and then you just give it away. And when you could be working with a smaller, more nimble partner who's really going to take you places because they're on the way up themselves, as opposed to a big established potential partner.
Sure. So you got to get that win-win.
Yeah, it's got to be a win-win. Otherwise, it's not a good deal.
Excellent. Well, thanks for meeting with me today.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
And get out there and partner with the right people. Get that win-win.
Good luck, guys.